Students at SCAD and artists everywhere use many different materials to express their creativity. Steel is the favorite medium of metalworker Andrew Crawford, but he isn't afraid to experiment with other elements. After building a successful ornamental iron business in Atlanta, Crawford has turned his attention to his true passion, sculpture.
I shape things, I bend things, and I manipulate them until they're the way I want them to look.
When we first met Andrew Crawford 6 years ago, he was an ornamental ironworker building a business and making a name for himself in Atlanta. Having recently completed the entrance gates to the Atlanta Botanical Garden, his career was starting to heat up.
Woo, it's hot. I feel like I'm incredibly fortunate to be able to make things that I want to make the way I want to make them. And as my career goes along, I'm starting to feel like people are starting to catch on to what I do, and I'm being allowed to have more freedom with my designs. Where's the glove? Where's the big block?
And with Bentley, the trusty shop dog, at his side, Andrew used that freedom to create a variety of beautiful and functional works of art.
I strictly use steel. Every once in a while I use some copper. Steel is very forgiving. It's a strong material. It's an inexpensive material. And I think it's a real challenge to take a stubborn, ugly material like steel and make it elegant. I try not to focus so much on volume as I do on quality, because I am a one-man shop, and I don't think that it would be appropriate for me to try to crank out a bunch of work. I don't think I would get anywhere.
Fast forward 6 years and the Andrew T. Crawford Ironworks is definitely getting somewhere. No longer a one-man shop, teamwork has changed the way this artist does business.
Ready? Yeah. Go ahead. Hang on. The whole idea of teamwork has been great for me, because I have been able to take on jobs that I would not be able to do by myself, both in scale and in execution. I find that when I work alone now, I'm incredibly inefficient. I've come to depend on my crew. I'd love a little more right in there if we could do it. We cooperate on projects. And start with that on the table. Then what we can do, although the original designs or the original concepts come from me, there's an attitude at the shop that everyone is allowed to make suggestions and everyone is allowed to put their input in, and we're all helping each other become better craftsmen. There you go. Big well down. As you come up here, whew, that thing's hot. One of the great things about having a crew of people helping me make my work is that I can be a more prolific artist than if I were working alone. If my career is a progression of piece to piece, then working as a team obviously makes the progression happen faster.
A team of fellow craftsmen isn't the only change in Andrew's life. Bentley, the shop dog, is retired, but still comes by for occasional visits with Andrew's wife, Elizabeth, and their son, Edward.
Having a son hasn't changed a whole lot about the way that I work. It's changed my personal lifestyle a lot more, and has forced me to delegate my time more efficiently to my job and to my artwork. I would say that the primary change in my business in the last 6 years has been the focus of my attention. I have made a huge effort to promote my artwork, show it, and make it, and be more consistent in making it. And at the same time, I have made an effort to build a larger business that could accommodate the type of commissions that I wanted to do, as well as maintain the facility for me to build my sculpture, which was always my ultimate goal in starting the Ironworks.
Over the past several years, Andrew designed, created, and installed several large public sculptures and displayed his work throughout the Southeast.
At the beginning of my professional career, I focused on metalworking and built my clientele, and I built my business on metalworking. And it's still primarily the main material that we use here. I've always enjoyed working with other materials, with wood and stone and bronze. It's only been recently that I have had not only the freedom, but the confidence to show the other materials that I use. I think it's also important to remember that being a sculptor is not so much about using any particular material, it's about making sculpture. And whatever the most appropriate material for that particular sculpture might be, a sculptor needs to have command of that material to execute the piece properly. At this point in my career, I still find steel to be the most interesting material for the sculpture that I like to make. And I think that the reason I'm drawn to it still is because I'm most comfortable with it. As far as creativity and passion and inspiration and stuff, I think a lot of people think that artists sit around and wait for the next big thing. And I've tried that and it doesn't work. You always have to go out and look for it. As a business owner, I think that my creativity is dictated by the momentum of the shop. And I think that as we get busier, regardless of what the projects are, I feel like I have more ideas and I have more solutions to problems and I'm able to get more done. It's a momentum thing. My greatest joy as an artist is being out there and having people see my work. It's a great feeling to make something and be proud of it and have it go out in public and have people see it and react to it. It's like performing. It's very much like if you were a songwriter and no one ever heard your songs, it would torture you. And so I feel like as an artist, my greatest joy is definitely showing people what I've done and being proud of it and feeling good about it. I think that people see metalworking as something that is so completely different from their lives because you do have things like fires and you have sparks and bright lights and you can't just do it anywhere. So people see it as such a radically different way of making things than any other way.